Welcome to Retro Depot. My name is Doug. Today we're going to be taking a look at kind of a mailbag segment. I recently ordered a multicart from a company over in what I believe was the UK. Turns out that it was actually from Spain. Now this is hasn't even been opened yet. All I've done is just taped off the addresses. And I'm going to actually sit down and open it up with you, and we'll take a look at exactly what you get for what you spend. Now this particular multicart is the SD-512, which is a multicart for the MSX computer. It basically gives you an interface to be able to load up various different programs via SD card. So let's take a look at it and see exactly what you get for the almost $100 US that you spend to get it delivered. Okay, so this is the multicart from 8-Bit Forever, and of course I've taped over the address and information. And if you take a look at the, I guess this is the customs label, it basically just says it's a game cart. And they didn't really put much on here as far as cost. I'm not sure exactly what that says, to be honest with you, because I can't read it. But we're going to go ahead and open it up and take a look here. So I'm just going to get in here with my, oh, that one didn't work very well. Let's grab, there we go. Much better. Sorry about that, I bumped the camera a little bit. We're going to go ahead and open this up. There we go. Just a plain brown box. Now, this here, like I said, it's supposed to be a multi-cart for the MSX computer. I've never actually seen one of these in person before, so we're going to be getting to enjoy this together. So I'm just going to open this up a little bit. So, nice little bubble wrap. Go ahead and take it out. It doesn't look like there's any manual or anything else. Just the multi-cart itself. I'll go ahead and open that up. Well, that's not working. Let's do it the proper way. Turn it around right side up. Alright, so this is multi-cart. It's got kind of a translucent case, semi-transparent. Of course, when we turn it around, we can see the SD card slot in the back. Now, this does have a place for both a full-size SD card as well as a micro SD card. It does have a couple switches at the top. Now, my understanding is that these are for deciding how you map your memory, and I don't really know a whole lot about it. And of course, we're not going to be doing a review on this today. We're just simply taking a look at exactly what this offers. Now, it does have compatibility for the MSX, the MSX2, the 2 Plus, and the MSX Turbo R. So this can pretty much work in any MSX computer that you get. Of course, they kind of vary in their standard for the case design, from what I understand. Like I said, this is the first MSX cartridge that I actually have, and it's not too terribly different in size from, let's say, a Sega Genesis. I've got some of those cartridges across the room. I'm not going to get one now, but to give you an idea, I do have a Super Nintendo cartridge right here that I can grab just a moment. So this is a Super Nintendo cartridge. And as we can see, it's substantially smaller. Now, it's not a whole lot smaller in height, but definitely in the width, it's quite a bit. So that should give you a pretty good idea as far as what you're looking at in size. So that's pretty much it for the cartridge. We're going to take a look at some of the capabilities of this and see what it offers. I know it does offer SD card access as well as 512K of memory mapped RAM, and it can either be used as RAM or for loading SD cards into memory, or the games from an SD card into memory. So we're going to go take a look. Now guess what? Today you get a bonus. We're going to be taking a look at another package I received in the mail. Now this one is a little bit different. I had ordered a PCB from another YouTuber by the name of Imsai Guy. I'll put a link to his channel below. He does some really cool projects with older computers. But whenever I ordered the board from him, he sent it to me, but I thought the package felt a little bit heavy whenever I got it, and it's a little bit heftier than what you would expect a PCB to be. So I've already opened this, but I'm going to go ahead and pull it out and show you exactly what I have here. So first thing is there is a note. So the note reads, "I made 10 boards of the 8085 and don't plan on selling them, so have fun." Interesting. So if we take a look at the boards themselves, this is what he actually sent me here. Now, this is the one that I ordered, and what this is it's a Kim Uno. Now if you don't know much about the Kim Uno, it is a MOS Kim 1 that is been reproduced through emulation by use of a Arduino Pro Mini, and it uses 2 sets of 4-character LED displays, 7-character displays that is, and a keyboard matrix in order to be able to emulate this, and it has some built-in software. We're going to be building this and taking a look at it at a different time, but they're pretty cheap. He actually sells them on eBay, so I would probably go over there and take a look at his eBay store, or you could just go onto eBay and actually search for Kim Uno. He should have a couple of these up there. I think that he relisted them, but you might check with him. If nothing else, send him a message on YouTube. He should be able to at least tell you what kind of stock he has. Okay, so we're going to be building this at a later time and having fun with it, but I don't currently have a Pro Mini, and I don't have the LEDs that I will need for this, so it's going to be a project that's going to be a little bit down the road. I may even do a build on this, actually film the build. It'd be pretty interesting. Now this one here is what he actually sent me as kind of a freebie. This here is a 8085 computer, and it was designed by Sergey Kislov, the same guy that did the Zeta single board computer, and a couple other of the Retro Brew computer boards. It's really interesting. It has a 8085 computer, PLD here. It's a 16V8 for the logic, so he's doing something very similar to what I was doing with the, or what I am doing with the G80 computer series. It's got a octal latch here for latching the, I believe it's the address lines, and then it's got a RAM, a ROM, and I believe that's a UART. If I'm not mistaken, that's a 8082 or something like that. So anyhow, a really neat computer. It has both a serial port as well as a power connector, and I believe a reset pin and a status LED at the top. Other than that, you've got the 8085 expansion bus here, so that you can expand this computer if you'd like to. I know that he has some software. I think that he's running a version of Microsoft Basic. It's either Microsoft Basic or Tiny Basic, I can't remember which. But it seems like a really neat little computer. I've never played with the 8085. I've kind of wanted to for some time, but it's, to be honest with you, it's kind of a Martian to me. I don't really know much about it, so I'm going to have to read up and actually learn something about it in order to do it. But he's got a lot of information on there. This is open hardware, and of course, you know, he's got all the UART settings here and how you actually get specific outputs and what options you have for ROMs and things like that. So it's really a neat board. Also, he has the bus pinout as a silk screen on the bottom side of the board, so that'll be pretty handy. But that's the kind of bonus to this segment. We're going to take a look at these two computers in the very near future. there'll be something interesting to play with. And of course, I always like these kit computers. You might not be able to do a whole lot with some of these things. For example, there's probably not a lot that you can do with this, and there's probably, well, I don't know, you might be able to expand this and add some features on there, possibly SD card, but you'd have to write your own software. As far as the Kim Uno, it does have an expansion bus here. I don't think that's really an expansion bus. I think that's just the pinout for the digital pins up here. So they're already being used by something else, so I don't think it's going to be beneficial. But either way, I wanted to share that. And I actually did the Imsai Guy a solid. I wanted to return the favor, so I sent him some boards as well. I sent him a, I believe it's a Harlequin. I'm not sure how you pronounce that, but it's essentially a ZX Spectrum clone board that I have. I posted on my blog about that a while back. And then I also sent him a SBC V2 board, which is is originally called the Nate Vim. Now it's the Retro Brew Computer Z80 CPU board. And then I also sent him a PLD programmer board, one of the ELM programmers. And then also a prototyping board for the G80, which he's having some problems with the G80 right now. I've been trying to get in touch with him to see if I can help him troubleshoot what his problems are. For some reason, he's not been able to get it going, but I'm sure it's something very minor that was just overlooked. So either way, you know, always repay the favor whenever somebody sends you a freebie, and I hope that that gives him enough material in order to be able to continue with his channel for a little bit of time. At least give him some material for the future, if nothing else. So here we're going to take a look at the SD-512, and this is the website 8bitsforever.com. They do have a new website. We won't go to that because this one actually seems to be a little bit more user-friendly. They have a couple of different things here. For example, they have ZX Spectrum interfaces, and they have the MSX Zone. It's got the SD-512, a SD card reader, a ATA card, a floppy disk controller card, a sound card, and a RAM card. But we're going to take a look at the SD-512 because I think it's probably the most practical. It can address up to 2 SD cards, up to a total of 4 gigabytes. You know, both a regular size SD and a micro SD. It has 512K of onboard RAM, which can be used as either a memory mapper, RAM expansion, or as a mega RAM to load ROM games up on. Now, the cartridge uses the Nextor kernel to access the storage media. It supports FAT12 and FAT16. It is compatible with all MSX models. Machines with less than 128K will need the 512K onboard RAM active and the mapper function selected, otherwise interfaces will work in MSX DOS 1. Now, having said that, I don't think that you have to have that in order to be able to load the games. I think MSX DOS 1 will work just fine. I haven't had a chance to play with this yet, so I'm not really that familiar with it. But it just has a brief little overlay of some of the things that it has. It does have you know, some pictures of the cartridge itself. Of course, you can see the micro SD and the full-size SD card there in a very small segment of the board here. I'm sure they don't want to show you the full thing. I'm sure it's pretty proprietary. If you go to the new website and you actually scroll down to the 512, you got to scroll down again, and it basically gives you the same information. Technical specifications is for MSX1 through Turbo R, 512K configurable RAM, a switchable RAM, 2 SD card sockets, and runs Nextor OS. So really nothing there. They don't give you any other real technical specifications behind it, and they do state in their refund policy that if you ever open it up, I think that you can't return it. Yeah, it doesn't say, but either way, I mean, it's kind of interesting. So let's take a look at the Kim Uno. Now, this is the website Obsolescence. I can't even pronounce that tonight. You'll have to excuse me. I've been tongue-tied all day, and with my southern accent and my very country English, It's kind of difficult this evening. But this is the website for the Kim Uno. It shows some of the things that you need in order to actually build it. And just a little bit of a history of the Kim 1. Not a ton of information here. It does have a area with some details. Take a look at it. Some technical details. It does have some software. It has a monitor that you can actually plug in information. I don't think it has BASIC or anything like that, but it does have, I believe, micro chess already pre-programmed into the ROM. Really an interesting little computer, pretty neat. And of course, they sell it on the website for let me see here. The kit is $17.50, and just the board doesn't say what the board runs, but you can purchase the kit, and then shipping to the US is going to be $15. So for $30 you can get this kit, and I guess that's not a bad deal. Or you can go over to Imsai Guy's website, or not his website, but his eBay page. He sells the bare PCB for $6, so that might be another option for you. But check it out. It's a pretty interesting little computer. Now, the last thing that we're going to take a look at here is the MiniMax 8085. Now, the MiniMax is, again, done by Sergey Kiselov, and it's kind of a neat little computer. Like I said, it's an 8085. It's got a PLD. It's got a latch, RAM, ROM, and then it's got a, what is it, a 8251A. So, 8251 UART. It does have 32K of backed SRAM and 32K of EEPROM. Now, does that say battery backed? I bet you he's using a supercapacitor. I'm not seeing one on the board, but I'm willing to bet that there's a supercapacitor or there's a jumper for hooking. I bet you that's it. Yeah, that's it right there. There's a jumper for hooking up a battery pack. That's interesting. That really is interesting. Of course, like I said, it's open hardware. He gives you all the schematics. If you go down to the bottom, scroll all the way down, he provides the files. So you can actually print these boards off yourself, play with them. Matter of fact, he specifies that you can even sell these if you wanted to. He does not mind. He produces them, and if you haven't checked out his website, I highly suggest doing so, because he's got some really cool stuff on here. Of course, he's got the PAR port prop, which is the parallel port propeller board for the Zeta computer. He's got the Zeta. He's got a new version of a single board computer for the XT. I mean, that's an entire XT computer minus your video out. I mean, that's impressive. It really is. This guy's a great engineer. He really is. I love everything he does. He's got a 8-bit backplane here, so if you wanted to build that computer, you can actually go over here and pick up a backplane. Let me see, what else does he have? Oh, need a ISA Super VGA card? He's got you covered. Of course, he's got a version of the XT CF Lite, which is a very handy card to have. He's got the OPL2 board, which I believe he designed. I believe he designed it. But yeah, it's a clone of the OPL2, which is pretty cool. Don't think anybody can complain about that. And data loggers, a couple other things. Really cool website. I would highly suggest checking it out. And then obviously also check out the Imsai Guy's channel. He's the one that sent me the single board computer for the 8085 and the Kim Uno, and I'm going to put a link below. Alright. So that's it for today. Today we took a look at the SD-512 Multicart for the MSX computer. We took a look at the 8085 single board computer from Sergey Kiselov, and then also the Kim Uno, which was designed by the guys over the Retro Brew computer project, from what I understand. Either way, there are three really great boards, and I hope that you get a chance to play with them. I'm going to put the links to the products below, that way you can find them very easily. Aside from that, I want to say thank you for viewing the video. Hit the like button if you liked it. If you didn't like it, hit the dislike button. Either way, I want to see what type of audience I'm getting and what kind of feedback I'm getting from these videos. Also, if you want to subscribe, please hit subscribe. It doesn't take just a minute, and then you'll get to see these videos every week whenever I release them. Check out the website if you like, retrodepot.net, and then we'll see you next week.